Hi guys, welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to do smothered pork chops. So first I'm going to season them with the basic seasoning: salt, pepper, garlic, black pepper, some Sazon, complete seasoning. So I'm just going to get it all on there and let them marinate for about an hour. And that's it. That's the complete seasoning right there. I know it looks like I'm putting a lot, but I'm not. All right, see you later. Okay, so now I got my cast iron skillet, and we're gonna saute the pork chops. Okay, we're gonna saute them. We're not cooking them all the way, we're just browning them. So I'm gonna make some gravy and some rice to go with it. We're gonna let them brown. I'm gonna go cut up some onions because we're gonna make some gravy to go over these as well. Oh, it smells so good in here. I wish you all could smell it. Now I got the pork chops out the grease. We're gonna make some gravy. Put the flour in. I don't put my onions in right now because I think the onions are going to burn and I don't want no burnt onions. We're going to leave this flour in here until it starts to brown. I did not clean the skillet out because I want all of the little bits at the bottom of the skillet. And we're just going to keep stirring. Okay, I'm going to leave it alone and let it start browning. I don't cook it fast because burnt flour doesn't taste good. So I'm going to let it sit there for a minute and brown, and I'll be back. You see how the flour is turning brown? Because I know it's a lot of people out here that don't know how to make homemade gravy. So now that the flour is browning, I'm going to add my onions now. See how it's getting dark? I know a lot of people use browning. I don't use browning because, once again, it takes patience to cook. And just be patient. Just be patient. Your flour is going to brown to make your gravy. Okay, so whatever color you want your pork chops, the gravy to be, that's how long you let it cook. And so now I'm going to get my water and put it here and make the gravy. Get my water, and now I'm going to stir, and I turn the heat back up because your gravy don't actually get thick until it boils. So look at it, so pretty gravy. I'm gonna add a little bit more water, and I don't need to season my gravy because the seasoning that came from the pork chops is in this was in the skillet stuck to the bottom. Look at it. Look how pretty it is. Look at it. Come on, onion. Now I'm gonna add my pork chops back into the gravy and let them simmer. Okay, it's in there. I'm gonna turn it down to low because it's already boiling. Excuse me, it's already boiling. So I'm gonna take the juices that was left over from the pork chops and pour it over in there. If you want more onions, you can add more onions. This is enough because I used some garlic and onion powder on my pork chops, so we don't have to worry about it, okay? All right, I'm gonna make some rice with this, and I'm gonna make some homemade biscuits, which is gonna be in a second video. So make sure you stay here. When you finish this, watch the second video for the biscuits. Okay, so I added some more onions, and I taste my gravy to see if it needed any more seasoning. So I'm gonna add some pink Himalaya salt, some black pepper, some accent, and I'm gonna let it simmer until the pork chops are completely done. And yeah, completely done. And then we're gonna work on the biscuits. I'm gonna make some rice and some green beans. Okay, so now we're gonna make the rice. This is how I make my rice so it don't be sticky. I hate sticky rice. So I'm gonna put some oil in the bottom, and then I'm gonna put a cup of rice and then 2 cups of water. Now what you do now is make sure, stir the rice and make sure each grain of rice is covered in oil. That's going to cook the starch off the rice. And I think I'm going to put a little bit more rice in here. I could actually, you know, do this by eye. But just remember, when you're cooking rice, if you're cooking 1 cup of rice, you use 2 cups of water. You don't want the rice to get brown. You're just trying to cook the starch off of it. So I'm going to turn my heat up. If you want to put some seasoning or something, because you know it's better to season your starch while it's cooking versus putting it on there once it's done. Because while it's cooking, you can get the seasoning into the pasta. Rice is pasta. So I'm just stirring it, making sure the starch cook off, and then I'm going to add my water. Okay, I've added my water to my rice. It is all cooked down. And what you do now is bring it to a boil. I'm going to add a little salt. And once everything starts boiling, and once you see some of the water start to boil out, that's when you're going to take your top, put it on the rice, turn it down to low, and don't touch it. Don't open it, don't touch it, don't do anything. That way you have some nice fluffy rice that does not stick together, because remember we sauteed the rice in oil to get the starch off of it. Starch is what makes it stick together. I also have another method that I use from a rice cooker, and I actually rinse the rice, but this eliminates that. If you just saute it in some oil, you ain't got to worry about the starch. We'll be back, and let's check our gravy. Hold up. So my gravy is cooking. My chops is cooking. So at this point, because I didn't cook them all the way, they're going to finish cooking in the gravy and get tender. Once they are tender, they are done. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes. I know I said don't take the top off, but I want y'all to see this. You see that? It's on low. So now we're going to turn it off, and the steam will finish cooking the rice. Finish cooking the rice. And let's go over here and look at the gravy and the pork chops. I hate that little film to be on the top. That's okay. I'm going to leave it here. And it should be done in a few minutes. And then we're going to make the biscuits. So now we're going to make some biscuits. 2 ingredients. We got 2 cups of self-rising flour. We're going to use 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. We're going to pour it a little bit at a time. That's 1 cup. And we're going to stir it. Stir, stir, stir. We're going to pour another cup. And then you want it to be wet, tacky dough. So I'm not pouring the whole thing. Because it really depends on the flour that you use. And we want it, it's going to be a sticky dough. Sticky dough, sticky dough. If it's too dry, add more heavy cream. If it's too wet, add more flour. You see, it's sticky. What we're going to do now is we're going to take some flour and put it on top. We're going to take some flour and put it on the board. And we're going to take it and put it on the board. And I'll be right back when I dump it out. You're going to put your hand in some flour. And we're going to knead it. But remember, when you're making biscuits, you don't want to mess with the dough too much because it's going to make them tough. So that's all we need. So now we are going to pat them down. Make sure we got enough flour down here. And flatten it out. Make sure you got flour in your hand. I don't have a biscuit cutter, so I'm using a cup. But you dip it in the flour. You put it in and you do not twist. You just push down. Push down. Push down. Push down. When you put them in, it's stuck. When you put them in the pan, make sure that they are touching, because when they touching, it makes them rise better. So I got butter in a cast iron skillet. I'm gonna put them all in, and now I got them all in the pan. I got my oven preheated to 400 degrees. Once again, make sure that they are touching, because when they're touching, it helps them rise. And I will be back. Biscuits are done. If you like, I don't like fat biscuits, so if you like your biscuits fat, then you roll them out, and don't roll them out to like 3/4 inch. But I did mine at 1/4 inch because I don't like them fat. But that's it. Have a good day. Alrighty, here's my plate.